Facebook had a really difficult year in 2019. I think there was a lot of criticism coming from basically everyone, from users, regulators, and even a couple of Facebook executives. So one of the first big moments of the year for Facebook was when the FTC imposed a $5 billion fine on the company. This was the largest in the history of the FTC, and it was something that people were watching really closely because it was the first major slap on the wrist for this company in the US. Not everyone was happy with the way that this turned out because $5 billion actually represents a small fraction of Facebook's annual income. I think in that quarter alone, Facebook generated about $15 billion. This was something that the company had planned for. It basically impacted the stock very little. Also in July, other regulators started looking at Facebook's business practices. And so in addition to the FTC looking at how Facebook mishandled user information, you also had the Justice Department looking at Facebook's business practices and trying to determine whether they were anti-competitive. Facebook critics have said that the number of acquisitions that Facebook has incurred, companies like Instagram and WhatsApp, and all of the other large acquisitions that this company had taken on in the past few years were actually anti-competitive because these were defensive maneuvers to ensure that Facebook would continue to control what a lot of people call the attention economy. So as long as people are logging on to Facebook products, they can continue to serve ads to those people. This is all about capturing users' attention and making sure that they're interacting with Facebook products for as long as possible throughout the day. Facebook announced plans to launch its own cryptocurrency, which was met with a torrent of criticism, mainly because people are having issues trusting Facebook. Although this came under a lot of criticism, Mark Zuckerberg went to Washington to defend this idea. He believes that it's going to give banking access to the 14 million people in the US who are unbanked right now. They don't have a checking or savings account, and this would essentially allow them to create one. What's funny is that when he showed up in Washington, he was hit with a number of questions that were completely unrelated to Libra. There were a lot of antitrust questions. There were questions about political advertising. There were questions about how soon Mark Zuckerberg was aware of the Cambridge Analytica data leak. While Twitter and Google have taken hard stances against false claims made on political advertising, and Twitter has completely banned political advertising on its platform, Facebook staunchly fought for the right for candidates to advertise on its platform. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has said that he doesn't want the company to fact-check political ads. This raises the question whether readers have the ability to even determine whether these claims are true or false in, let's say, like a 15-second video ad. Already there has been $60 million spent on political advertising leading up to next year's election. The importance of this is going to continue to increase as we head into 2020, and it's something that Facebook will have to grapple with as we near the election. The company has said that it will continue to consider how it handles political advertising. The year started off on a pretty rocky note. I think since the last election, people have been looking at Facebook a lot more critically. I think people are less trustworthy of what they read on Facebook. I think they're less trustworthy of the company, and yet the stock continues to perform well. The company is up more than 50%. I believe it was up as high as 56% earlier this year. Facebook continues to launch new products. They continue to inject themselves into our everyday lives. And so although the news cycle started on a bad note, and basically that note continued throughout most of the year, Facebook stock and the enthusiasm from investors has not waned.